For the last 15 years, I've been teaching courses that involved action and reflection on action, theory and practice. And at the end of each and every year, the students tell me that what they love about the course was the food and learning from each other. Now, I'll get to the food later, but let's talk about learning from each other. I teach human rights, and the students are asked to practice 10 hours a week at the Human Rights Organization. So I find it weird that every year the number of students who apply grows up and up. And when it reaches 600, I started wondering, what is happening? So I told my friend, Professor Yona Rosenfeld, who had headed the School of Social Work, that I have to choose 15 students out of 600. And why aren't there more elective courses on campus that combine action and reflection, theory and practice? And Yona said, I don't know, let's study it. So we created a community of learners, activists, students, faculty members, people who care about the community and the campus. And we started asking ourselves, how can we create partnerships? We went to 9 campuses in Israel, and we asked students, what is your activism? What do you do outside of campus for change? What do you learn from it? And how can we help? The most difficult, yet most interesting lesson I learned was in a study tour we held in Lifta. That was 2004, and there was a plan to build a luxurious neighborhood on this abandoned Palestinian village that lies at the entrance to Jerusalem, just between the 2 campuses of the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. One of my students volunteered at the time at BIMCOM, Planners for Human Rights, who objected the plan, and I thought it would be beneficial for all of us to go to Lifta, to see the place, to understand what does it mean to object to a new plan. We went, all of us. We had the planner from BIMCOM came with the plans of the 268 apartments that are about to be built, the hotel. Lifta is a Palestinian village that in 1948 was abandoned by its Palestinian residents. Unlike other villages in Israel, it was not completely razed and has still 55 houses standing there. It's a beautiful village. And so we all felt that it should be kept. We were sitting on the roof of one of those houses, and as we always do, we sit in a circle and ask each student in her or his turn to say what they think. So I went around, and the first student was Palestinian. He said, I don't want to speak. And the second one was Palestinian, and she said, skip my turn. And the third said, why do you want us to talk? We are sitting here surrounded by pen. We cannot talk. And then students talked about how they never talked to each other. Palestinian students said, we all have stories of refugees in our families. We never talk about it outside our homes, not at schools, not on campuses. Jewish students said, we never heard. We were sitting there, almost all of us were crying by the end of the day, and we left when the sun was setting. We were walking up towards the light of Jerusalem, and I learned about the importance of collective memory, about denial, about how much we don't know or don't want to know. I've learned a lot from my students. Right now, there are many students working in Lifta from Bezalel, from other universities, measuring, learning the history, learning the past. And I keep learning with my students. So I encourage all of you students to go out of campus and act for change, to demand that the campus will be relevant to your life, to combine theory and practice. And to you, my friends, who are teaching at colleges and universities, we have a privilege. We have a privilege of learning with young people who are optimistic, who have hope, who believe that they can make a difference. Enjoy learning with them. Even if at the end of the year they tell you that they mostly learn from each other. At the end of the year, most of the Jewish students tell me, I've never, ever talked to a Palestinian until I reached your classroom. Most of the Palestinians say, I never talked to a Jew. Even worse, many Palestinian students tell me, I never said a word in classroom. One graduate student told me, I was sitting for 3 years on campus. I never said one word. I insisted on staying in the first row, so at least I'll be seen, if not heard. So talking to each other is important. The campus is for many Jews and Palestinians the first place to meet. Let's make it meaningful. Don't be afraid. Campuses are political spaces. There is nothing like neutral education. If you don't take a stand, if you don't talk, if you don't take action, you're also making a political decision. So don't be afraid. Go out of campus. Learn with students who are activists. Act and study and learn for change. Thank you.